All right, let's really get into this Travis Kelce big illness situation because honestly, the more you look at it, the weirder it gets. So, as we all know by now, the Kansas City Chiefs got absolutely wrecked by the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl X, the final score 40-22. And let's be real, nobody saw that coming. The Chiefs were trying to pull off a historic three-peat, something no team has ever done in the Super Bowl era. But instead, they got completely dismantled. And right at the center of that disappointing performance was Travis Kelce, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, a guy who's known for showing up big in the postseason. But this time, he didn't. Kelce finished the game with just 4 catches for 39 yards. That's already surprising. But what's even more shocking is that he didn't catch a single pass in the first half. That's something that had never happened in his entire playoff career. Think about that for a second. A guy who's been a playoff legend, someone Patrick Mahomes trusts more than anyone on that offense, and he just disappeared for the entire first half. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. After the game, Kelce talked about it on his New Heights podcast, and you could tell he was frustrated. He said, it just wasn't our day. I couldn't find a lick of momentum. And at the time, most of us just chalked it up to one of those rare off days. It happens, right? Even the best players have games where nothing seems to click. But then things took a weird turn. Fast forward to this week at the NFL Combine, Kansas City's GM, Brett Veach, sat down for an interview with Tom Pelissero from NFL Network, and that's when he dropped this bombshell. According to Veach, Kelce was actually dealing with a pretty big illness during the Super Bowl. Wait, this was the first time anyone had mentioned Kelce being sick. And considering how bad his performance was compared to his usual standards, you'd think this would have come up sooner. But nope, no one had said a word about it until now. And here's where the fan reaction started pouring in. People on social media had questions. One person wrote, what? Pretty big illness? Like what? Did he have the stomach flu? Food poisoning? Did the rest of the team have it? What's going on here? Another fan joked, the illness, age? And of course, there were people rolling their eyes saying, oh, here come the excuses. And I get it. When you hear about a star player struggling and then the team suddenly brings up an illness after the fact, it does kind of sound like damage control. But to be fair, Veach did push back on that idea. He straight up said, listen, with the way the Eagles played, it wouldn't have made a difference. And honestly, he's probably right. The Eagles dominated that game from start to finish. It wasn't just Kelce. The whole Chiefs team looked off. But the more you think about this big illness, the more confusing it gets. For one, there were no signs of Kelce being sick leading up to the game. He wasn't on the injury report at all during Super Bowl week, and you'd expect something like this to show up if it was serious. Not only that, but on the Friday before the game, Kelce was out double dating with Taylor Swift and the Mahomes at a swanky New Orleans restaurant. If he was battling a major illness, he sure didn't seem too concerned about resting up. So if this illness was real, and I'm not saying it wasn't, it must have hit him suddenly on game day morning. And that's pretty much all we know at this point because Veach didn't offer any more specifics. No mention of what kind of illness it was, how serious it got, or if anyone else on the team was affected. Just this vague statement about Kelce being sick. But that's not even the only big question surrounding Kelce right now. For the past few months, there's been a lot of retirement speculation. Kelce's 35 years old, and he's been pretty open about thinking about life after football. And let's not forget his relationship with Taylor Swift has only added to those conversations. People are wondering if he's getting ready to step away from the game and start focusing on his personal life. But according to Veach, that's not happening, at least not yet. He said, we're excited to have Travis back, and that's how we're operating this offseason. So it looks like Kelce is planning to run it back with the Chiefs for at least one more season. And honestly, after the way this year ended, I wouldn't be surprised if he's coming back with a chip on his shoulder. At the scouting combine in Indianapolis, Chiefs GM Brett Veach spoke to the media. And according to ESPN, he sounded pretty confident. He said, I think we left it as he'd be back and we're excited to get him back and get him going. Sounds like a done deal, right? But hold on, because head coach Andy Reid wasn't quite as clear. When an ESPN asked him about it, Reid played it cool. He said, that's up to Travis. At this point, just get out of town and relax. That's kind of my motto for these guys. They've played a lot of games for a consistent amount of seasons. So you get to the end of it and you've exhausted yourself mentally and physically. Step back, take care of that. And then we'll talk. For right now, I think that's what he's doing. Basically, it's still up in the air. But it does sound like Kelce's leaning toward coming back. And with the team focused on the combine and the draft right now, I guess we'll get some kind of official word in the next couple of weeks. For Chiefs Kingdom, this is definitely promising news. I mean, after last season's disappointment, Kelce's not going to want to go out like that. And from everything we're hearing, it looks like he won't. Okay, let's dive deeper into the latest buzz surrounding Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. There's so much happening right now with them, and it's pretty clear everyone's eyes are on this couple, from their relationship to their individual accomplishments. Let's break it all down. So let's rewind for a second. After the Super Bowl, Travis and Taylor have pretty much kept things quiet. And honestly, who can blame them? The game was a tough one for the Kansas City Chiefs. The Philadelphia Eagles completely dominated with a 40-22 win. It was a hard loss, and Travis Kelce made it clear afterward that he needed some time to figure out what comes next for him. He's got a huge decision to make. Is he going to come back for another season, or is it time to retire and hang up those cleats for good? Now, that's a big call, especially after such a high-profile season. On the flip side, Taylor is getting a much-needed break after absolutely dominating the music world for nearly 2 years on her Eras tour. If you've been living under a rock or just haven't had the chance to catch one of her shows, let me fill you in. This tour was massive, like record-breaking massive. From stadiums to sold-out shows, Taylor was basically living on the road, delivering performances that fans will never forget. Now that the tour is finally over, she's taking a well-deserved rest. She's probably hanging out at home, sipping on some tea, and catching up on some Netflix, and we honestly love to see it. But here's the thing. Even though they're laying low right now, everyone's eagerly waiting to see what comes next for this famous couple. What's the next big milestone? And could it be the iHeartRadio Music Awards on March 17? I mean, there's been so much speculation around this. Fans are practically begging for Taylor and Travis to make their red carpet debut together. If they do, it would be absolutely iconic. Imagine them stepping out together. The energy would be unreal. There's even more reason for them to show up. Taylor's not just attending the event. She's being honored with the brand new Tour of the Century Award. That's a huge deal. I mean, this is the kind of recognition that only comes once in a lifetime. On top of that, she's up for an impressive 10 nominations at the iHeartRadio Music Awards. Yeah. Artist of the Year, Best Song, and a ton more categories. Like, she's absolutely dominating. I wouldn't be surprised if she walked away with a whole bunch of trophies. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Travis Kelce isn't sitting on the sidelines either. The man's got his own nominations. He's up for 2 nods in the favorite surprise guest category, and he's got some serious competition. One of the biggest highlights of Travis's year was joining Taylor on stage during her Eras tour stop in London. That moment was pure magic. But if that wasn't enough, Travis also made an appearance during Morgan Wallen's One Night at a Time show, where he was joined by none other than his Chiefs teammate, Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, Travis has been making waves in more ways than one. Now let's talk about something a little unexpected. Taylor Nation. If you don't know, Taylor Nation is basically Taylor's official fan club, and it's run by her management team. Well, on February 25, they decided to go all in on helping Travis win his award. They posted a TikTok video that had fans absolutely freaking out. It was a throwback to last year's Super Bowl celebration when Taylor was with her parents and Travis. And let me tell you, the way they leaned into the TikTok trend. Brilliant. They paired the video with an audio clip of Taylor screaming from the Anti-Hero music video, which honestly made the whole thing so much more fun. What really caught everyone's attention was the caption. Crash the party like a record scratch as we scream. Vote for your favorite surprise guest, and all iHeart Awards nominations for our chairman. The chairman part, yeah, I'm loving it. It's like Taylor Nation is fully embracing Travis as one of their own. I mean, he's basically part of the Eras Tour family now, right? Fans were totally buzzing after the post. Why? Some were confused by it, sure. But the majority were thrilled to see Travis featured on Taylor Nation's page. You could feel the excitement in the air, with one fan even posting on X, formerly known as Twitter, Tavis red carpet debut confirmed. And honestly, that's what everyone's hoping for. The idea of them walking the red carpet together would be a moment for the ages. Let's not forget, the iHeartRadio Music Awards are taking place at the iconic Dolby Theater in Los Angeles on March 17th. That's a huge stage, and if Travis and Taylor show up together, it's going to be electric. The energy, the looks, the media coverage, it's going to be everywhere. But here's the cherry on top of all this. Jason Kelce, Travis's brother, is confident that Travis has this award locked down. On a January episode of their New Heights podcast, Jason casually dropped this gem. Well, congratulations to Travis and Taylor up against Selena Gomez, Wyatt Cher, Chappelle Roan, the Twisters cast, and more. I'm sorry to all those people I named because you don't stand to expletives. Talk about brotherly confidence, right? Jason's got his younger brothers back in a major way. And honestly, it's kind of hilarious to hear him trash talk the competition. but you can tell he's not wrong. After all, Travis's I Can Do It With a Broken Heart appearance in June was one for the history books. So what do you guys think? Are we about to see Taylor and Travis hit the red carpet together? Do you think Travis has the favorite surprise guest award locked up, or is there still some competition left? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this dynamic duo. We'll be following every step of the way, so stay tuned.